why the same old family patterns hit harder during gatherings. And I also have a personal story to share about this topic because, particularly when it comes to Christmas, I don't go and see my family. And that has a particular reason, which I'm going to share with you. But I want to start to just acknowledging that this topic, family gatherings in general, it might bring up old wounds, it might bring up old patterns. So if you go into a spiral while I'm talking, and maybe even after, just know that it's okay. Don't blame yourself, don't shame yourself, don't try to heal quickly or anything around that. Just sit with it, sit with the emotion. We call it emotional regulation when we just sit with our body feeling. Having said that, let's start with the triggers that make some family gatherings probably not that nice. On the other hand, they can also be very nice, but it depends, I guess, on how you get on with your family and how you have let go of the past. So I've put together a couple of things that I want to go through. And the first one is familiar spaces activate familiar identities. So particularly if you go back to your family home where you grew up, there are memories everywhere. In this room, this happened, in that room, that happened, and we did this when we did that. So there is a lot of memory coming back. And often with memories, emotions, body feelings come up. How you felt in particular situations in that surrounding. So I want you to acknowledge that you come back to your parents' place, back to your friend's place, back to your home, wherever that is. There are memories, and these memories can spiral backwards. Again, it's important to acknowledge the awareness that you have and how much you have let go of the past, but it can come back. And then you have similar behavior. And what often happens that I hear that from clients very often that they say, it's my family, I know them. Or even it's my partner, I know them. And with the partner, you might know your partner better than your family, because what often happens is that you and them, they have a certain idea of who you have been. And because you're not spending so much time together anymore, they don't get the chance to get to know the new you, the different you. I see that for my family. I visit Germany once a year. They don't see all the changes that happening in my brain. They don't see how I differently react to different situations. And the same goes for me. I don't see that in them. Just like I come back, I see them, and I still have this old memory, this old idea of who they used to be. Someone that I used to know. Yeah, that happens. But you might have changed and you still have this idea of who they are used to be. And you might think, I can't share that. Or this is me now. They are still the old one. And because we carry that with us, usually there is a lot of resentment towards that because the old version of who they used to be might have done stuff and things to you that you didn't like, that you didn't appreciate, that you dislike very, very much, that got you a lot of emotional pain. And you believe, maybe, that they haven't changed. They are still that person. So when you come back to that family gathering, maybe Christmas, a birthday, a wedding, you come with all of these expectations that these people are still the same people. And that opens up old wounds, particularly if you haven't let go of what happened in the past. Another thing is that your brain reads family as history and not as present. So we have these bias. different buyers for different people, for different families, for different scenarios. And when you go and see your family, your brain automatically goes in what I explained before, in all of that history that you had together. And it struggles to say, oh, this is today. Today is today. Today is not the past. Today is not the future. Today is today. And you might again feel resentment towards them because the history. So they carry this baggage with them. You carry that baggage with you. And you expect certain behaviors from them. Behavior in the sense of that they do something or that they don't do something. It doesn't matter which way it goes, but they are expectations because they are history. There's so much history. And some of the people you know from birth, yeah? Particularly your parents, probably. Not everyone is the same, but I know my parents, my siblings, they are older than me, so they know me from birth, literally. And when they meet me, there is still the history. Like, you have done that in the past. They carry that with them because they haven't let go of the past. We get to that later, how you can let go. But first, we do this. And then there is also the third point I've written down is pressure. Pressure to be there. My mom was very clever when I lived in England and it was Christmas time. She didn't say, oh, I want you there. It was just like, when are you coming? Full stop. And I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. Over the years, I shortened my stay in Germany for just a couple of days because I didn't want to be there, particularly during Christmas. And that had different reasons. First of all, Christmas here in Germany, it's cold. So you spend most of your time inside in that space all together. And even though my parents have a house, but most of the time you spend it in the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. So it was this confined area. The other reason was that my brother, he is a person that he has a lot of expectation towards people, towards situation, how they're supposed to behave, how they're supposed to turn out. And whenever they don't, he gets angry. He gets mad. He shouts. He calls you names. And he does that to me. He does that to his boy. He does that to my parents. And to my other siblings. So it's like an all around, like, I'm not happy and you need to know that. And that happened for, I think it started when I was about 13. So over 30 years ago, almost 35 years ago, that's when it happens. That's when he came full out in his dislike, in his behavior. So Christmas for me and for my family was tiptoeing around so my brother doesn't get set off. But it didn't matter what we did. He exploded at one point, sometimes more often than once. And what happened then, what we did, is we just kept quiet. Because if we said something, we tried that, of course, it's like more and more. And then he would get angry, and then he would feel hurt, and then he would walk away, and then he would come back, and then we would have to pet him. So it was this whole cycle that we created, that we deliberately created to keep the peace, to keep the family together, to have this gathering. And I didn't enjoy it. And when I moved to England, it gave me some space. And I realized the first year I went back for 2 weeks holiday in Germany, staying at my parents' place and visiting my brother and having Christmas and having other gatherings. And it made me physically sick. So over the years, I shortened these trips over Christmas to 5 days. I arrive on the 1st, I leave on the 5th. So I have literally just these 3 days in between to have Christmas, to have in Germany, we celebrate on the 24th in the evening. So it was the 24th. I arrive on the 23rd, Christmas dinner on the 24th. Then the big family came together on the 25th. 26th, we did whatever. On the 27th, I was gone. And it was for my own protection. But at the time when I created that distance for myself, I wasn't aware of what is behind it. We come to that later as well, but that was my situation. I try to avoid, particularly Christmas, because it's in winter, because you're so confined to this indoor stuff. And in summer, it was like, yeah, I come for dinner. Oh, now explosion again. Shit, what to do? And so we said all that quietly, hoping for him to calm down. And we created that dynamic. We created it. Not one of us tried to say anything because we didn't want to get the blame, the anger. So, do you have that awareness as well that you create another person's behavior by letting it happen and by you staying there? So some other real life examples, apart from my own, is that you enter your parents' home and your confidence drops. Depending on the relationship you have with your parents, your confidence drops. Like with me, with my brother, it's like I'm shrinking, staying quiet, and hoping it's over fast. Yeah, it's not the version of you are probably being with your friends, your chosen family, or at work. It's a different one, particularly during family gatherings. Your sibling says, "Oh, you finally, you're here." Again, we come to this history that you have created. They see that version of you that has been, that's in the past, and they carry that with them. And it doesn't matter why you're late. It doesn't matter why. My sister, what she told me very often is, "Are you? What are you wearing again?" So there was always something that I was wearing that I liked, but she just thought it was hideous. And every time she saw me, particularly even when I didn't live in Germany anymore, she had to tell me the dislike, her dislike. It was important to her. And because she was used to that, doing that with me since I was little, telling me what she didn't like about me, she continued doing it. And for me, I knew, okay, if I say something, I know that she will be hurt, that she might cry, and then we have that drama. So again, I stay quiet. Another example is that someone comments on your relationship status, your weight, your job, whatever it is. I had that very often when in my 30s when I come home and said, "So when are you starting a family?" I was like, "Oh, let me be." But they, for my family was they all had already started their family. So they went through the stages that society deemed as the right stages. But me in my 30s, already divorced, no children in sight, no husband, only had a boyfriend. It wasn't good. And they told me that I miss something. It's about me, why I'm not at that stage. Again, they see me as the little girl. I'm the little sibling. And I need guidance. I need to be told what I should do, how I should do it, when I should do it. They didn't see the person I grew up to be because I wasn't there. They didn't see me regularly. They didn't listen. We didn't talk about it. No? But they had still that version of me. And another example that I've written down is that the family asks, so, any life updates? For me, it was, and I have that even now, particularly when I talk about my business, that they ask me, so what's new? Any updates? And I would love to talk about my business, to talk about how much has changed, how it has grown, etc., etc. But the thing is, they're not interested in that. If I tell them that something isn't going well, then they jump in. That's what they want to hear. That when they want to give me the solution. That's when they want to tell me what my part of it is and how I need to change. Again, they did that for now almost over 45 years. Yeah, they are used to it. And they haven't let go of the past. They haven't taken the time to say, oh, who is she now? And I want you to be aware that you might have that awareness. You might have that consciousness that I have changed. They probably have changed as well. So let's be curious about what has changed. Who are they now? But many people don't. They simply don't. They have their ideas and they stick to that. And then they might be surprised, like, "Ooh, you're so different. You've never been like this. What's wrong with you? Yeah, you don't fit into that idea they created for you anymore." And particularly families, you have gone through so much. There were so many emotional connections that you created over the years. That's a very strong bond. And to let go of what used to be, who you are used to be, and to now see this new version and say, okay, it's hard for some people. Change is hard for some people. They are afraid of it, and they are afraid that they lose the status, the comfortness of things staying the same. And of course, all of this, like for me, I got very, very bad diarrhea. If you don't like to hear this, it's over. But that's how my body reacted to my time being around my family, being put into that idea again. And no one was interested in who is she now? And even when I tried to find out who are you now, it was like, what do you mean? I'm the same old. Again, we come back to the awareness. Are they aware that they have changed over the years? Maybe not. Maybe they have. In my case, they didn't. At the time, they didn't. So I was left there like, okay, not liking it, waiting for my flight back. So the big question now is what to do. And I just write down the next thing because so two things that I want to give you on your way. The first one is this sentence that I learned during my NLP certification. There are 12 principles, and the first one that stuck with me the most because it was literally life-changing in regards to my family, for me, particularly with my parents. Because my parents, they were on a pedestal, and I desperately tried to understand why they did or didn't do things, why they wouldn't be the parents they should be, why they didn't understand me. So all of these questions and many more went through my head. And when I read that sentence, wow. So the sentence is, everyone is doing the best they can with the emotional, physical, and mental resources they have at the time. So everyone is doing the best they can, the resources they have at the time. For me, when I read that sentence, I was like, but they shouted at me. They didn't like what I do. They didn't support me in that. How can that be the best they could do? But at that moment in time, mentally, emotionally, physically, it was the best they could do. There wasn't any more to give. That was the best behavior they could display. If you want to put it in the comment box and let me know what comes up for you when I say this sentence. But I repeat it. Everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they have at the time. So it doesn't make it any good what they did, even if it's very, very, very bad. In that moment of time, it was the best they could do. And it wasn't about you, it wasn't for you, it wasn't against you. It was all inside themselves. It was all for them, with them. It had nothing to do with you. You may have been the trigger, you may have been on the receiving end, but they weren't capable of any more. And I want you also to remember that that changes, and that is the same for you. You do the best you can with the resources you have at the time. So your behavior that you displayed today or that you displayed last week, and now you regret it, you feel ashamed of it. Think back at the time, that was the best you could do. Today, different day, different you. You probably would do it differently. But that just means that today your resources mentally, emotionally, and physically are different. And that's why you would act differently today. But last week, that was the best. So there is no need to feel ashamed of your behavior. Yes, it might not have been a deemed good behavior. The consequences that came from it, you might not have liked them. All fair enough. But it was, in that moment of time, the best you could do. And when you walk into the next family gathering, remember that they are all sitting there, and whatever they do, whatever they say, that's the best they can do with the resources they have right now. There is not more to give. This is all. This is all there is. And another tool you could use, and this is one of my favorites, is that whatever happens, you say, interesting, to yourself. You don't need to say it to them, but there is a shit show going on. Interesting. Wow. What a shit show. Wow. How angry he is now. Well, when you do that, what happens is you give your brain time to pause, to come back from the past with the history you have with your family. And you don't go into the future of why are they doing this to me? Why don't they learn? Da 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 da. So you just come back to the present, and with wow, interesting, curiosity, you bring it to a neutral. You're just the observer. You step back and say, no judgment, no shame, no blame. Nothing is needed. You're just the observer and observing like a child. Like, wow, he's angry again. Interesting. Full stop. Create that curiosity, that non-judgment, non-shame, no blame. That doesn't mean that you deem any of their behavior good or bad. You don't do that. You just take it on as it is. Because in the end, your life is meaningless. You are the one who gives meaning to everything that goes on. That means that you can also decide to say, when they try to attack me, I don't give it the meaning that I used to give it. It's like interesting. They try to get stuff out of me, and oh, interesting. It feels very weird inside me. Oh, interesting. I want to defend myself. Oh, interesting. I want to say something back and hurt them. Yeah, interesting. Wow, that's what I want to do. Yeah. Apart from being curious and stopping your brain to going into a spiral and getting you back to the present, you will find that it's quite fun. At least I find that when I do that with my family now. Just like, wow. Here, another story. In August, because I was born in Romania and my parents are now almost 80. And last year we decided, all of us, siblings, parents now, and family, we go to Romania to visit because I haven't been there for the last 15 years and it might be the last time my parents will see their own old home. So knowing the history with my brother, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, but yeah, I wasn't the person anymore that I used to be. So when we were there, it wasn't even 5 minutes in, and he was angry with me and he shouted at me and he told me how stupid I am because I didn't tell him that we were coming late. No? And tears. I had tears in my eyes. I was crying because I was so overwhelmed with the sheer shouting and anger that flew towards me. And I was like, okay, okay, I sit here. I was like, wow, wow, interesting how my body reacts to his energy, to his words, to his reaction. And in that week, whenever he yeah, exploded, I either got up and walked away. I said, no, I know I can't change you. I know you are in that space and it's up to you how you want to deal with your anger. But I decide that I'm not staying here. So I walk away. It was a very funny situation. We were shopping and he came and he was angry at us. He was shouting at us like, why didn't we get cooled beer? And I looked at him and I grabbed whatever. I said, okay, I'm walking to the other side of the car. Don't want to be in that space. Interesting that this can make him explode. And the good thing is, or what happens, you will see that when you try it, there is no resentment, there is no anger because my ego wasn't in it. Because interesting. Wow. And I know that he did the best he could in that situation with the resources he had. Okay. And I made the decision that I remove myself from that situation. Full stop. And we had, apart from his explosions every now and again, a wonderful time together. And we said goodbye, we hugged, and I felt it and I meant it. So I want to give this to you to try it and let me know. Send me a message how it works for you. When you, one thing, the sentence, everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they have at the time. And the other one is no judgment, no shame, no blame. Just be the observer and come back to the present. And with that, I finish my lecture for today.